me today.
It was an experience. Look, there was an accident on the PA Turnpike, and it impacted everybody. It impacted the three of us. It impacted Brianne, our engineer. It was just pretty wild, right? It was a wild trip. I left my house at 4:00, and I didn't get here till like 5:35.
Same here.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. But hey, we're here. We made it. And Russ, Flyers, man, playing some good hockey right now. I get the sense that you're starting to. Why are you playing the intro now?
Don't worry about it. It's like Timon and Pumbaa once said, Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata.
I'm in the middle of talking, and all of a sudden I see the open.
Well, the short version is that it wasn't actually going out to the people. So now the people over on YouTube, on our channels, on X and Facebook, they can now join us here.
We were talking for 5 minutes already.
It's fine.
You guys
It's
didn't
a big
miss
deal.
anything.
It's a big deal.
You didn't miss anything.
Listen.
But yeah, the Flyers playing some good hockey,
Yes,
Russ.
they are.
And I'm starting to get the sense that you're coming around on this team just a little bit, and you're starting to think that maybe they're a little bit better than you maybe might have thought at the beginning of the season.
It's not that I feel like I need to come around on it. I said at the end of last season that I fully expected the Danny Bree era to continue, and that was going to include some upgrades to the roster, hopefully most notably at goalie, which we can get to in a second. But I thought that overall, you make a coaching change. The power play couldn't possibly be worse than it was as part of the Rocky Thompson horror show. And I figured that just on aggregate, you should be able to have a more successful season. And I even went on the record in the preseason and said, and in the offseason, I said, as long as you can get even average goaltending, league average goaltending, I thought there was a good chance that this could end up being a legitimate playoff team. Bubble playoff team. I'm not going to say they're one of the best teams in the East. That's insane. But a team that could absolutely get into the playoffs. I haven't changed my mind.
Goaltending makes a lot of things look a lot better when you get good goaltending.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah, I mean, it does. And it erases so many warts and things that usually pop up on a team. And goaltending, like pitching in baseball, is just it's that one position that you just have to have, you know, and it can't be less than stellar if you're going to move forward in the standings or have success. And Vladar so far this year has provided that for the Flyers. I mean, he's been really, really good, you know. 2 goals or less in every game that he's played, I believe.
Yep.
And made some key saves at critical times in hockey games. I mean, he's been really, really good. And really, I didn't think he'd be who he's been to start the season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to me to see how they do the goaltending situation going into the next couple of games. I think Vladar is going to start tomorrow in Ottawa.
Wow.
I do. I don't have. No one's told me that. I just get the sense that he's going to ride him another start, and then Erson will start back at home on Saturday. That's what I think is going to happen. But look, Dan Vladar deserves it. I mean, he's not facing a high volume of shots, guys.
Right.
He's just not. The team's done a really nice job of taking away scoring areas for teams, keeping teams to the outside, getting in lanes and things like that. So they've done a nice job with that. But the shots that he's faced, he's stopping, and he's making that 1 extra save or 2 extra saves that guys last year were not making for the Flyers. And I think that's the difference that you're seeing between a team that would religiously give up 4 goals a game versus a team that's only giving up, just over 2 goals a game, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hate making a comparison to a team that absolutely underwhelmed and broke some hearts and has a Timu.com Mr. Rogers running it in the Phillies, but there is a part of me that hopes that Dan Vladar isn't exactly like Harrison Bader, right? Bader had a really good run to end the season with the Phillies, but he way outperformed expectations. Vladar has looked great to this point, and he's looked great to start the season. You don't want to then put all your eggs in that basket and say, all right, we've got our guy. I mean, before any games actually start tonight, he's 4th in the league in goals against average. He's 8th in save percentage this year. So you don't want to overvalue what he's done to this point. You also don't want to project that out over the course of the season. He's only ever played, the most games he's ever played is 30 in a season. There's a big difference, Bundy, right, between a guy who is called into action 25, 30 games a year versus the guy who's supposed to be the number one. Look no further than Sam Erson, who was a backup guy, got forced into being the starter, had a full year with injuries as a starter. It's tough tough thing to have to do if you've never been used to it.
They'll deal with the 30-game thing once it gets to that point. But, I mean, if the guy's playing well and he has a different mindset, then it's not going to make a big difference for him if he's playing, the standard of a backup 30 games or if he's playing 50 games. So the way he's playing right now, and if he keeps doing that, he'll end up playing 50-some games this year. And that's the way it's going to go, And in turn, too, Sam Ersson will have an opportunity to get better as well. Like it's not like he's going to be flat every single game. He's going to go on a run here too.
Yeah, and I think Ersson, like a couple years ago, will actually be better in this secondary role.
Yeah.
Like when he was the backup to Carter Hart. I think he will be better in this role. And look, I hope Vladar keeps doing what he's doing, right? You never know. I mean, the next game, everything can go haywire, and then it's like, okay, here we are again. We're right back to where we were, coming into the season. But hey, great job by your boy.
My boy?
Darth Vladar.
Darth Vladar. By the way, shirts now available, shop.snowthegoalie.com. This is the fastest selling shirt we have ever had on the store. We've had some successful days. It is a great design. We actually had an apparel company that talked to us a while ago about doing some stuff, and now they're like, hey, you want to work together? So we might be having some other very cool designs coming soon.
Yeah.
But you can go over there and we'll talk about it. Now, before we get into anything else, just going to give a shout out, obviously, and remind the people, those who are here with us at Chickies and Pete's, those who are inside at Chickies and Pete's, and of course, those who may be in the greater Warrington area right now and decide, hey, let's go talk some puck at Chickies and Pete's. We are currently streaming live on YouTube, on our channel, as well as on Facebook and X, and of course, we are here with 1490 WBCB, as well as 107.3 FM. Now, we're also at Chickies and Pete's, as we mentioned, and this is a good time to point out that each and every Wednesday night, we will be doing Snow the Goalie Radio at a variety, a potpourri, if you will, of locations in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Tonight we're in Warrington. Anthony, next week we are in
Drexel Hill, baby, my neck of the woods, Delaware County. Come on out and see us at the Pilgrim Garden Shopping Center. I can pretty much walk to that one.
Oh, that must be nice, Bundy.
Must be nice.
Yeah, must be nice. Must be nice.
Glad it works out well for you, Ed.
Always does.
Just wait till we come to Marlton and you get the nice short drive, and we got to hoof it over to New Jersey.
This guy.
One time.
Anyway.
I'm already 0 for 2 in my rides out to these things. So,
hey, no matter the sports season, Chickies and Pete's has you covered. Start the meal off right with some of their delicious red garlic or spicy white wine menu mussels before you indulge in one of their mouth-watering burgers like the Ultimate Tailgate or the Fightin's Burger or Anthony's favorite now, back-to-back weeks, the Barbecue Burger.
Because you forced me into it almost.
Or you could be like me and get the crab cake sandwich. It's a lovely sandwich as well. Come on out to one of their more than 17 locations and be sure to check them out at the next Flyers game in either the East Food Hall or Southeast entrance in front of Section 103. I am being told, correct me if I'm wrong, we have a call that just came through from Josh. So Josh, you are now live with Snow the Goalie Radio. How are you?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
how you doing, Josh?
Doing well. You guys started off the show with what I wanted to talk about and bringing in Darth Vladar. And I think it's interesting because I really don't know if he was brought in to be the starter or the backup, but I think he was brought in to bring competition. And, as Ant said, Sam Ersson was at his best when he was with Carter Hart, whether that was, you want to say, the backup or 1B, whatever. And I think it takes that pressure off of Ersson to be like, I need to go play every single night or play 60 games, whatever, and be that guy when I have this backup or this tandem, whatever, to take some weight off and balance that out. And so I think what we're seeing is a tandem that is not just going out there to play and try to earn a spot, but it's guys that are competing and pushing each other. I think it's a healthy competition that they're having right now.
Yeah, and it's a great point that you make. And, the one thing that I think everybody should take away from this is that the Flyers have been transparent about this. When they signed Vladar, they basically said that they were going to let him come in and compete for the number one job. And, everybody just assumes when you hear that, oh, that's just the team saying what they have to say. It's going to still be Ersson who's the guy, and Vladar's going to be the backup, right? So you kind of assume that.
Yep.
But they really did let it become a competition. They really did reward Vladar for how he played in the training camp and the exhibition games. And now they're leaning on him because he's been the better goalie so far. So the Flyers have been upfront and honest about it. And so I think that's something that you should really take away from this, and that they're going to allow for competition to be created. Nobody's guaranteed a position. Nobody's guaranteed a job at any time. You got to work for it. You got to earn it. And Dan Vladar's earned it right now. That's not a knock on Sam Emerson. That's credit to Dan Vladar and also credit to the management for allowing that to take place.
Yeah, Vladar won the contest so far.
Yeah.
Right? Until he shows that Erson's going to get back in and he overtakes him. But no, right now they had a fair competition and Vladar secured the win in that competition.
Josh, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, and we'll see how that continues. But let's be honest, guys. It's not just the goaltending. I mean, because he's not faced a ton of shots. The Flyers have won 3 straight games where they've allowed fewer than 20 shots.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a team defense. It's a team mindset. It's not just like if Vladar's going out there and stopping 35 shots a night and standing on his head and winning games for them. This is team-oriented defense that's winning these games and limiting the opposition. So I think it's great to talk about Vladar. That's awesome. But I think you got to give some credit to some other guys as well. I think Cam York has looked really good since he's come back, Bundy.
He's looked good in a couple of the games he's been back,
right?
for sure.
I mean, I know you watch the defensemen extra closely because you as a former defenseman, and you get to see the game a certain way, different than the rest of us do. To me, as just an observer of the sport, he has looked really sharp in 2 games.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. I like the way he's moved the puck. He's been good on the power play.
Yeah.
And he's defended well also. So it's been good to see him back in like that, playing in that kind of form to come out of the gate.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually a very interesting place that we find ourselves, gentlemen, because we're talking about one player who's really performing well. I think we should.
You surprised me with this, Russ.
I love to surprise you. I aim to surprise. I aim to please.
You jumped to me right away. And it wasn't that we.
Well, I see that your phone's out, so I have to keep you on your toes.
Well, no, because
that's
I have
the
to
former teacher in me there.
No,
Bundy.
I have to look at what the station sends me via text.
Do you know what I used to call that, by the way?
What's that?
Glowing crotch syndrome. That's what we used to call it in education.
Because the phone would sit in the
Because
crotch?
the phone would be sitting in the lap of a student.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, listen, one of 2 things is happening. You're either looking at your phone or you have a very serious medical issue that we should send you to the nurse for at the very least. So I think Player of the Week's a good
Yeah,
place
so
to go.
this is the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. And it's brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. All right, do you want to go first this week for your Player of the Week?
Yeah, it's the same guy that I thought was potentially the Player of the Week last week. It's Dan Vladar.
Okay.
And I don't even think it's particularly close.
I agree.
Really?
Dan Vladar is the player of the week for me, too.
I'm not going Vladar. I'm going Owen Tippett.
Oh. No, he's been good, too.
Owen Tippett's got 5 goals in 6 games. He looks locked in all of a sudden. Maybe not the first couple games. It took him a couple games to kind of get going. But I look at the games in this past week, at the way he's played, and I sit there and say, this is what they hope to get out of Owen Tippett. Now, you hope it's not something streaky. You hope that he's not just in one of those good runs and that he's going to drop off a little bit after that. But I think that you look at it and say, you need a little bit more scoring from on this team. Obviously, you're not getting it right now from Mishkov. Zegras hasn't scored, but he's got all those assists. Waiting for Konecny. He finally got a goal. Somebody's got to kind of carry that offensive load. Owen Tippett has stepped to the forefront and been that guy. So for me, it's Owen Tippett.
Okay. That's fair. I'm still going Vladar.
I would too.
That's fine. I
think it's just. I think it comes down to an importance factor too. Like you think about how meaningful it is and how much it really does mean to this team that Vladar has established himself as a legitimate starter right now.
Yeah, it's
steadying
certainly
effect.
It's certainly meaningful.
Now, at 28 years of age, we are not viewing young Dan Vladar as the future in net for the Flyers for a decade. Right? I think even internally, the Flyers are probably very happy with his performance to this point. But there are people that they view as a longer-term solution. They obviously believe in Carson Bjarnason. There is maybe some thought that Alexei Kolosov, if he continues to play well in the AHL, he might end up being able to turn into an NHL player. He's getting the year that he really should have had last year
Yeah.
of development.
Yeah.
And then, the great hope playing over across ocean. Zavragan, people are very excited about. So
Yeah.
it's nice to at least have somebody who's stabilized the position right now. Hopefully, a month or two from now, we don't look back at this episode and go, "What the heck were you guys thinking?"
Well, that's all right. That's all right. So, it was a 2-1 last week. We've Bundy and I outvoted you for Player of the Week, and this week you guys outvote me for Player of the Week. So, Player of the
Who
Week
was your pick again?
last week? Who did we?
No,
pick?
no, it was Couturier. for you.
Couturier
Who
last
did you
week.
pick this week?
Owen Tippett.
No. More like no one Tippett. I will believe it when I see it for a longer stretch. Tippett to me,
He's a streaky scorer.
he's a streaky scorer. And
But that's
what I would like.
But good goal scorers are.
What I would like to see out of Tippett.
Unless you're a superstar, good goal scorers are streaky.
What I would like to see out of Tippett is Bundy. I think you actually said it the other night. Instead of it being 5 or 6 games in a row with a goal, and then you go through these long stretches of nothing, you want it to be like 1 every 2.5 games, something like that, where it's not as much of a chasm between the goal scoring spurts. He had one that was from behind the goal that was like maybe a little bit of puck luck. As long as he's putting the puck on net, we feel pretty good about it, right? Like, he just has to go through, make sure he avoids those streaks where he gets hesitant to shoot because he's missing so bad.
Well, that was always been his biggest problem, Owen Tippett, is that he would take a lot of shots and miss the net entirely. And Tockett's really been preaching against that. Like, he even said it. I think it was at practice. I don't know if it was last practice we were at. The days run together for me now. But he was saying about how he doesn't mind that you shoot a shot that's right at the goalie. He said because then a lot of the goals are rebounds right there in front, like you get the dirty goals, right? He'd rather you do that than crank up a big slap shot or, snap off a hard wrister and miss the net. It's off the back wall and starts the breakout for the other team the other way. So it's better when Owen Tippett is getting those shots on goal, and I think that will make him a better player if he's doing that and not missing. So, but hey, that was your Flyers Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again, 1-866-PAY-EASY.
Let's talk about a guy that everybody was excited about coming into the season and had some struggles initially. We had ankle gate. Can we call it ankle gate now?
Sure.
A guy that everybody knows this team has to have at full power, full peak power to reach their ultimate ceiling. Matvei Michkov. Bundy, the other night we were sitting down there at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, and you said, hey, it's a good game. It's a better game. Baby steps.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having to play catch up right now. Whether the ankle injury set him back too far from his training in the summer, whether or not he just wasn't in optimal shape coming in off his rookie year, maybe not having an understanding of that, which happens to guys. It wouldn't be the first guy it's happened to, but I think he's waning his way in, and I think he's getting close to getting back to about 100% of his conditioning. So I'm looking forward to that. But I thought the other night was his best game of the year. He had some chances. He looked like he was up on his skates a little bit more in the offensive zone. He's never going to wow you with his speed. He's not a flashy Russian that can just burn up and down the ice like Kaprizov in Minnesota, when he's on his game. But he's a small space operator, and he needs to be able to find that groove on the power play. He's got 1 goal on the year. I think he had an assist the other night. But baby steps, yes, he had taken baby steps to kind of get himself into the gear that we saw him play at a high level last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in total agreement with that. I still need to see more than 1 good game.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
want to see him put it together here over several games in a row. I think he needs to get out of his mind that he needs to be a hero every game. Right? And I get it. You're 20 years old. You want to be that next great superstar. Like, you want to make that play. It's not like he's being selfish. It's not he's driven by the desire to be great, right? He's the guy that wants to be in the penalty box when there's a bench minor so that he has an opportunity to come right out of the box and get a breakaway and score a goal and change the dynamic of the game, right? So, like, he wants to be that guy. So you don't want that to go away. So you're not trying to coach that out of him. But you also want him to, be smarter with the decisions that he makes on the ice. And that's the hard thing that you're going to deal with a 20-year-old player, right? one good game, that's great. It looked better. I would bet today, before they got on that plane to fly to Ottawa, Bundy, even though it was an off day for the team, I would bet Matvei Michkov was out on the ice at Flyers training center doing a little bit of a workout on the ice.
Yeah, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right? I would bet
Yeah.
that that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so like things like that, the Flyers are going to try and make him take advantage of those off days and just get in and get a hard skate or get a good workout in or something to try and get back up fully to the speed that he needs to be at for the regular season.
I want to believe, I think everybody wants to believe, it's going to be critical if they're going to find any modicum of consistent success that he plays well. The line that a lot of people wanted to see more of that they saw in the preseason actually came to fruition at the end of the last game. The line that had Grabenkin, Zegras, and Mishkov together. Obviously, there's a whole lot of issues potentially there. Zegras isn't a particularly great 200-foot player, can't win faceoffs. It's part of why he and Dvorak are playing that kind of hybrid duo together on a line. But there's a lot of positives I think that you can take out of that Grabenkin, Zegras, Mishkov line. I guess the question is, how long do you think Tocchet is going to want to keep experimenting so much within games? Like, it's a thing that last year when we talked about Torts, and Torts constantly juggling these lines, it's like, how the heck do you have any kind of consistency if you're always moving around? Is it still just the early feeling out phase, Bundy? Like, is there a point where you say, like, look, you kind of have to solidify by, like, game 15, give or take, of, like, for the most part, this is what the team's going to look like?
Remember, there's only really two lines. Like, if you look at it, well, Grabenkin was on the fourth line, and he got into that role. But that one line is locked in stone, right? The Cates line with Brink and Forster, nobody's touching that line. So that only leaves a few openings to see what else is going on. It started off last game with Konecny. Was it Konecny, Couturier, and Tippett to start the game? And then things kind of shifted around a little bit after that. But it's a matter of finding the groove. I think any coach wants to get to having your lines written in stone where you only have to make minor tweaks during the season if somebody's not going some night. But that could be an interesting line. I'm a little bit concerned about the defensive prowess on that line, if it's Mishkov with Grabenkin and Zegras.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And you know, you got to be really judicious about when you play that line, right? Obviously, you want to do it when you're getting a offensive zone start.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that, in your own end or even neutral zone, really. And you might want to do it when you can get the matchup advantage against the opposition, too. Like, they're going to put their fourth line out. Okay, now we'll put those guys out because even if they're defended well and the other team comes out of the zone, the odds of that fourth line scoring a goal are much diminished, right?
Yeah.
So I think you got to be smart about when you deploy that group. I think you could try it in game. One of the things that Pittsburgh used to do so well is they would kind of alternate their lines. They had like two versions of their lines per game. They would keep Crosby and Malkin separated a lot, but then they would probably have 7 or 8 shifts a game. Maybe not that many, maybe a few less than that, where they would put them together.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so these are situations that were very situational. I think you could do a very similar thing with Zegras and Mishkov and just do it when you can take advantage of having them together. So that's what I think. One other guy I want to talk about, and guys, don't forget you can call into the show, 215-949-3232 is the number. Travis Konecny. And I wanted to bring this up because I know he got off to a pretty slow start. Like, we all kind of agree with that. But on Saturday, Bundy, we're at the game, and we're sitting there, and we talked about it briefly on the Press Row show when it happened. But toward the end of the second period, Travis Konecny had a shift where he went out there and he was just banging bodies left, right, and center, right? And it kind of woke up the crowd. It woke up the team. And from that point forward, they were the better team than the Minnesota Wild. Konecny didn't score a goal, but he was certainly one of the 9 guys that Tocchet kept in the lineup. Was rotating those 9 guys. Played really well. Then I thought his game on Monday was same kind of thing. Came out with a lot of energy. He scores what ultimately is the game-winning goal. He sticks up for his teammates at the end. Gets, he's real chirpy. Gets into we call it a fight. I don't think there was really any punches thrown, but that's beside the point. But then he's mouthing off with Lindgren in the box. Like that, when he's that guy, the whole team is better.
Really hard to do that every night.
I know.
Yeah. Really, really hard to do that every night. And that's why when you look at a guy like Brad Marchand, you think to yourself, wow, this guy does do it every night.
Yeah.
And he's done it his whole night for 15 years.
Yeah.
To play like that. TK doesn't. He's not at that level of a player. But he was pretty effective when he, again, sometimes it's not about goal scoring, it's about what you can do for the team to get the team some life. I'm not saying he doesn't need to fight. He's a good hockey player. But certainly being able to get a good hit on a guy or get a forecheck going where you get things
Be an
stirred
agitator.
up. An agitator, yeah, and he can do a better job of that too.
Yeah.
I always say a goal scorer should never look at themselves like a goal scorer because that's when you get yourself in trouble when you think it's going to be easier.
Right.
It's when you think of yourself as a certain player and then the goals fall after that.
Yeah,
Fall in line afterwards.
It was interesting because I asked TK about that at practice the other day. I said to him, I want to take you back to Saturday. I asked him about that shift. He goes, yeah, I remember that shift. He said, yeah, I had 2 big hits on that shift. One of them was for the team, and one of them was for me personally.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was trying. I don't know if he would expand on that. Like, I don't know if he meant that he was just mad at himself for the way he was playing, and so he needed to have one of those hits to kind of get himself going, or if he meant that there was kind of like a little bit of a rivalry between him and the player.
That's what I think he
Yeah,
meant.
probably, right? But he didn't. He wouldn't clarify. So
I was going to say, Konecny and that really angry attitude,
Yeah.
That passion, they go together almost as well as crab fries and that delicious cheese sauce, which you can only find here at Chickies and Pete's. Do you need the perfect place to watch your next Flyers game? Try Chickies and Pete's. Grab a basket of crab fries. Take them to go. Have them here. Whatever you feel. But take them to go with one of their specialty pizzas, like Lisa Blonde lobster pie, the shrimp tomato, or their hot honey pepperoni. Have you tried that?
I have not.
I think we might have to make that a staple next week.
We'll give that a shot.
We'll do a
Drexel
food
Hill.
review.
Yeah.
Can we bring back no pucks given?
No
about
pucks
the,
given
about the food?
for all Chickies and Pete's foods.
The FCC just freaked out. We said pucks with a P. Let's be very careful here.
Yeah.
To the radio. Did they hit the dump button back in the studio? Who knows? But stop by the flagship South Philly location before you make your way to a Flyers game this season. Go to chickiesandpete's.com to check out upcoming events and more. And a reminder, we are at a Chickies and Pete's location every single Wednesday at 6 o'clock throughout Pennsylvania, throughout New Jersey.
Did you see the sign by the front door when we walked in?
No.
Oh, you got to see it
There
on
was
the
a
way out.
sign?
There's a thing on the wall.
I love
It's
a sign.
Snow the Goalie promoting all of our every stop that we're at. Yeah, it's right,
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
right out the front door.
I actually have our poster.
Our banner?
Our banner.
Yeah.
Our small banner. I have it with us. But I didn't know where to. So anyway, we'll have
Yeah.
that again next week.
Yeah, we'll need it for next week for sure.
I'll have to make sure that I bring it on Saturday because intern will probably have a panic attack if the banner's not there. Although he might actually be happy. You ever watch the intern mid show of Press Row Show dive on the floor to try to catch the banner as it falls? It's good cardio. It's a good
really?
workout for
That's
everybody.
good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll tell you what, I would dive on the floor if my Chickies and Pete's crab fries were heading floor side. I'd get down there. I'd dive out for it. I would. Speaking of diving,
Yes.
one guy who doesn't dive on the ice, Sean Couturier. Let's talk about his game. Last week, he was the
looking
player
good,
of the
man.
week. Week over week, you want to see extended play. Your thoughts on Coots so far this season?
One thing I know is he tells people, and his back's feeling a ton better.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can actually get out of bed, get his shoes on, get his pants on without having someone help you. And I've been there. I've had a back injury before where literally you can't get your underwear on. It's that bad. Or your shoes. The shoes are like a whole different level. That's why those Skechers slip-ins are probably pretty good if you got a bad back, so you don't have to worry about them. But he looks like, he's really playing well. He's skating. He's moving his feet. He's making plays. He's playing well defensively. Penalty kills. He's really had a good start to the season, too. He had that one big 4-point game.
Yep. 2 assists the other night.
Yeah,
right?
2 assists the other night again. So, he's really climbed up early in the points column for the Flyers. And, again, I just hope he stays healthy all year. I hope that he's able to keep that fitness up and just make sure that he stays injury-free through the rest of the year because he's been really good.
Yeah, I was talking with him in the locker room the other day, just not for a story, just kind of like catching up and seeing how everything's going. And he says to me, he said, I cannot express to you just how good I feel. He's like, I'm not saying it. He's like, I know everybody thinks that players just say it. He's like, I'm not saying it just to say it. He said, I feel better than I have in 5 years. Since before
That's
COVID.
awesome.
So,
Great.
So, that, he won the Selke in, 21, right?
Was it
that
21?
Was it that long ago?
2021?
Was it that long ago?
Doesn't seem that. It seemed longer ago than that.
Was it longer than that?
I don't know.
Okay, I forget what year. But anyway, point being is that he feels as good as he did since before COVID.
It was before that. It was 2020.
20. Okay, 2020.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So go back to that. I mean, that's pretty much the last time he felt this way.
Yeah.
Physically. I'm not saying he's going to be a Selke candidate again, but if he could stay this healthy, he's certainly a difference maker for the Flyers team.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I think you have to just kind of keep in mind if you're a Flyers fan is like, you have to remember how good he once was. He also broke into the league at 18, right?
Yeah.
He's had some great seasons. He's had some down seasons after some really bad injuries. He has a lot. He's not. What is he? 33.
Yeah.
He's not a 33-year-old body for a hockey player, right?
No.
Because he came into the league when he did, because of the role that he was expected to play so early on. There is still tread left on those tires, but he was kind of put on ice in a sense with the back surgeries and then having to kind of ramp back up. It's interesting because here we go, another cross-sport comparison. But like, you look at him and you say, all right, after those surgeries and after this extended period of time, there has to be part of him that wants to prove that he's back, right? At the same time, you've got like Embiid going tonight, who looked really good in the preseason finale, and you go, he wants to prove that he's that guy still. For Couturier, it has to be more than just personal pride, right? It's got to be proving that the coach that was here before, that he had the falling out with, that he was wrong, and showing that that coach was wrong, and showing this coach that he's right for trusting him. I think that there's a lot of people that he's trying to prove a point to. It's a good thing for this team.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I mean, there's a lot that goes into what he means to this team, and they got to be careful. Like you don't want to run him into the ground like Tortorella did a couple years ago, and he is playing all situations right now. But I think you got to give Tocchet a little bit of credit in the sense that even though Couturier is playing penalty kill 5-on-5 and a little bit on the power play as well, that second unit, he's not overkill. It's still that 18-minute a night thing, Bundy, right? 18 to 19 minutes is not 22, 23. He's managing him and still using him in all situations.
It's amazing if you go back a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago. We were talking actually about the Flyers moving Couturier to wing because he couldn't play center anymore. He played the whole 200 feet.
Home opener last year.
Yeah, is what they were talking. That was John Tortorella talking about That's what the state of Sean Couturier was last year. So, I mean, there's a lot. He's had a lot of incentive to come back off that coach who was just...
Got to call it what it is. The coach embarrassed him.
The coach deliberately embarrassed him for whatever reason. I don't understand why. I never will. Nobody understands why.
No.
But he decided that he was going to... I mean, the timeline of it is almost incredible.
Yeah.
You know, get named captain, 2 games later you're in the press box.
Yeah.
Who does that?
John Tortorella does. And where's John Tortorella coaching this year?
In the booth.
Yeah.
Is that, he's
in studio.
Is he ESPN?
He's in studio.
ESPN though, right? Yeah.
Well, they're lucky to have him.
How about I see this note from Zach. If you want to pop that up, Zach Anderson says, unlike Sanheim, who's literally playing half the game, he did play 30 minutes in the Wild game. Now that game did go to overtime, so there's a little bit of extra time there. Tocchet has talked about wanting to not overwork him, but he's been really good for them. But he is trending, Bundy, more towards that 26, 27 minute a night type of thing. I know he's not 33 like Couturier. He's still younger, but that's got to take a toll on a defenseman
Big
too,
time,
right?
yeah, especially if you're not totally accustomed to playing it. You know, for him to get that many minutes, he's going to have to play every situation at the highest level. So, you know, again, it's where you're slotted, right? Right now he's slotted as a number 1, so he's going to get that kind of minutes. But I still don't think you need to play Sanheim. I personally think he's a 22, 23 minute a night defenseman.
Yeah.
That's me.
I'm with you.
You know, some of the Flyers are going to go, what the hell is Bundy talking about? He's crazy. I don't think you should play him more than that because I think that I think you get in trouble when you play him too many big minutes.
If you were a cup contending team, is he a top pair guy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly, God,
I don't know either. I'm trying to figure out. I feel like he's gotten to a point. Like if you remember when they initially signed him to that deal, right? I was one of the people who was like, I don't know. It's a lot of years, the money. Like, has he really proven enough? Is it a good deal yet? He, I think, has played himself into a place where if he's not a top pair guy, on a cup contending team, he's a really strong lead on a second pair.
Yeah.
Totally
And I
agree.
think he,
Yeah.
just based on trajectory, and like we'll see, right? Because Risto, in theory, is supposed to be a top pair defenseman. That was what he was at least brought in here to be. I don't actually know if he's a top pair guy either. But if Sanheim's trajectory continues and the development continues, and he can be an all situations guy and continue to take another
Well,
step.
he is an all situations guy now.
Well, sometimes that's by necessity, though, I guess is my
Well,
point.
that's right,
But if
right.
he continues that trajectory, I think it's entirely possible. Maybe in the next year or so, you look at him and you go, yeah, he actually would be a top pair guy
Right.
on just about any.
Yeah, I think-
And that's
You have to look
for
at
a
where
team
the
that's had
team's
like
at now.
development.
This is a
questions.
team that's been a non-playoff team.
Yeah.
So you're going to have players that would be on a playoff team that wouldn't be playing the minutes or playing on a lesser team.
Right.
And you have to remember that. Like, that's just a fact of life. So, until you step into the playoffs and you assert yourself every year as a team that's going to make the playoffs, let's see how those puzzle pieces fit then.
Yeah, I've been all along, he's a 3. All along I felt Sanheim is a 3. He's starting to play a little bit more like a 2.
Yes.
That
Yes.
doesn't mean I think he's completely there
Yeah.
yet. Like on a cup team.
But he's closer that way than I think he is a 4.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
He's right now to me between a 2 and a 3 on a cup team. He's obviously the 1 right now. I'm
The
not
one
saying
here.
Yeah,
he's the
for
1
sure.
for the Flyers. If you're challenging for a cup, can Sanheim be a 2? I think he can get there. He's not quite there in my mind just yet. But I think here's a good comparison. There was a time where we felt that Ivan Provorov might be a 2,
I was just about to go there, yeah.
right?
When he had Niskanen to hold his hand,
Yes.
he played.
Yes. And then
too.
after that, it fell off. So we believed it, and then he proved us wrong.
Yeah.
I think Sanheim's ahead of where Provorov was at that time.
Yes.
I agree.
And so in that regard, I think he's closer to being a 2.
No, that's
that
fair.
Provorov was.
Well, I'll go over to this comment over on YouTube. Of course, you can find us over on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you're watching on X and you want to participate, you have to click on the video, go into old Periscope mode, and if you drop a comment there, it'll come up on the screen.
Yeah.
R Hextall87 over on YouTube says, of course he's the top pair guy. He plays the top pair. Coburn was a top pair guy. So was Bundy. I think that, the big thing is, yes, he's the top pair guy on this team. We're talking more holistically across the league. Would he be a top pair guy on those cup contending squads? It is interesting. The Provorov thing is really interesting because this is where I think you get into that, what expectation the team sets versus what they allow to have happen. When Provorov was here under prior regimes, it felt like we were being told he is a number 1. He should be discussed as a number 1. Sanheim, I don't think, has had that narrative around him. So maybe that allows him to kind of play with a little bit less weight on the shoulders. It always
He's
felt like
never been told, or has never. You're right. He's never been heralded as the future number 1 defenseman.
Yeah.
Where Provorov was.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like, oh, you're going to be the next number 1 defenseman. Sanheim's never had that. He's just kind of fallen into it because of the past seasons they've had here.
Yeah.
But he's played very well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he hasn't played well. He's played really well at times.
Yep.
Really, really well. And then there's other times where if you're that number 1 guy, you got to keep on that trend all the way through.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah. Just to kind of comment on what R. Hextall87 said, the difference, though, where he was comparing Sanheim to Bundy, for example, and Braden Coburn, is those Bundy and Braden Coburn both had, not that there was, Desjardins Hall of Fame caliber player. Timonen was a really good player, but they were more two-way kind of guys.
Yeah.
Whereas Bundy and Coburn were your solid, reliable, stay-home defenseman types, right? So I don't think Sanheim has that guy on the other side of him that's the equivalent of a Desjardins or a Timonen. If he did, would Sanheim be that stalwart defenseman? I don't think he would. That's why I think he's more of a 3. I don't compare him to you or Braden Coburn the way he plays.
Because he'd have to have one of those going really, really well. Like Coburn and me, we defended really well.
Yeah.
And whether he'd have to change his game almost to play with another 2-way defenseman that's better than him.
Right.
Yeah. Both Timonen was better than Coburn, and Desjardins was certainly better than me.
Right.
But we worked well together as a pair.
Correct. And
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you somehow get a 1D, right? Whether through free agency trade, you draft that player, whatever the case might be, and you end up with that number 1 defenseman. I don't know if Sanheim fits as the partner there.
Yeah.
because usually a number one defenseman is a two-way defenseman who can both defend and score, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if you put two-way guys together. I guess you could.
Good try.
I guess you could, but it doesn't. It just, for me, it just seems a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, you need to have that really one stalwart defenseman defensively back in a pair like that if you have an offensive defenseman who's like a number one that gets up the ice all the time.
So based on the current defensive pairings, like based on who's here at the NHL level right now, when Risto comes back, whenever that is,
Early November.
hopefully in the year of our Lord 2025, whenever he comes back, who do you pair him with? Like, what does the optimal pairings look like?
That's a good question. I haven't even gotten that far down the road yet.
Do you put Risto with York?
No.
Well, no, because York and Sanheim are playing well
and
together.
Sanheim are a pair.
Okay.
They're playing well together right
So
now.
does Risto play with Drysdale?
Probably
Okay.
Drysdale.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, it's not a great pairing, but it's probably the best option.
Yeah.
Because they're the guys that you want playing the second most minutes, right? You'd rather have Nick Seeler as your reliable third pair guy, and then whoever the sixth guy is, whether it's Juleson or Zamola or you recall Emil Andre or whatever the case might be. Like that's probably what you're looking at on the third pair. So yeah, Risto probably plays with Drysdale in my mind.
Now, I guess the next question is when we look ahead, and I think we can kind of take a look at where they've been and where they're heading next. When we looked at the schedule at the start of the season, we were pretty aligned, I think, in not thinking that this team was going to end up with a ton of points to start the year because we called it Murderer's Row.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier. Like, just for the sake of being fair, it was a really tough stretch, and they come out 3-2-1. They take on the Senators in Ottawa.
Yeah, but without Brady Tkachuk.
That is true. But they take them on. They're back on the road for the first time in a while in Ottawa on Thursday. They're home against the Islanders on Saturday.
Who I don't think are very good, although Schaefer's looked really good.
They've actually been winning games, though, somehow, right?
Schaefer does look really good.
That kid Schaefer Bundy might end up on the Olympic team.
This year?
He's that good. I've watched parts of two Islander games, and I sit there and watch him play and go, my goodness, this kid's going to be special. He could be on the Olympic team this year.
Wow, that's a hot take.
I bet you he goes to their selection camp, and then we'll see.
That'd be a big step to take for a rookie like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to play. He may not play. It might be one of those situations where he's there for the experience,
right?
Be around all those players,
right?
Because he's going to be that next great Canadian defenseman. But he's really good.
It's pretty wild too, because if you go back to the draft and if you kind of remember, the thought was that Schaefer was probably the most NHL ready, but a lot of people thought he was going to be a year off, right? Like there weren't many pundits that were saying, yeah, Schaefer is going to make the team be an impact player to start. And plus, especially he's 19.
Yeah.
The number of 19-year-old rookies that come in and play the kind of role that he's playing. Is he 18?
Just turned 18.
Really?
Yeah, he's 18.
Oh, I'm
just
really
turned.
Yeah.
Then it's even more incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there were a lot of people thinking that he was going to make that kind of an impact.
No.
And so the fact that he's been able to do it this early is pretty wild. We'll see how the development of...
So on Saturday, since we're talking about the Islanders, what's the fan reaction going to be to Max Shabanov?
No one cares.
You think?
Not a single soul. It's over.
Is that from last year?
That was the
from the
kid.
summer.
No,
That
that
was
was
from
the
the
kid that
summer.
was supposed to sign with them this summer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Maxime Shabanov.
I thought yeah.
And then decided last minute to not sign
Yeah,
with the
he didn't
Flyers
sign
and
here. Yeah,
with the- sign
Shabanov.
with the
I got
Islanders.
mixed up with the other Russian over there that had an altercation with one of the Flyers last year.
Oh,
He got
yeah.
suspended in a game.
Yeah.
I thought that's where you were going when you said a Russian player.
Yeah, no.
Shabanov, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm just curious how fans.
I think the
fans
Shabanov...
feel spurned.
I think that matters if the Flyers start the season 0-3-2
Okay.
or something.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they've been winning, we can actually kind of pull this back into something we were talking about off air as well. The winning kind of helps tamp down a lot of the negativity that has surrounded this team for a good long while. And so you look at where the productivity is coming from, and I think that helps as well. So, like, if we go back to some of the late Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek teams, you would look at those teams and say, well, it's very contingent that Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek perform on the power play. It's very, like, their success hinges on these two guys who are not getting any younger. Then you look at some of the younger guys on the roster and say, well, what the hell's going on? Nobody's really getting better. This team is different insofar as, like, Konecny just scored his first goal of the season, 6 games in. Couturier's looked really good, but you're not winning on the back of Sean Couturier. It's that Cates and Brink and Forster line. You're seeing guys like Rubenkin getting involved. Mishkov had a better game this past game. Tippett has goals in multiple games. Zegras has an
assist in every game.
An assist streak.
Yeah.
And so when you look at it like that, you go, that takes a lot of pressure off. You're not relying on 2 guys to get all the points produced. A lot of the negative Flyers fans have kind of, I think, taken a deep breath. And they're watching it and they're going, all right, I'm intrigued. You have my attention.
I just think that I just think that they know that they can't complain right now. But as soon as the first opportunity comes to do so, they will. Go
One
ahead,
thing
Bobby.
the Flyers loved the other night, they loved what Grubenkin did after that cheap shot on Hathaway. They loved that.
Absolutely.
They say that's the way you build a team and get everybody involved and trying to stick up for one another, be comrades out there, looking out for one another. The Flyers love that.
There's an example, too, of a guy that, like, a lot of times when you think of fourth liners, you think of the grizzled vets, and then that's what spurns the younger crowd that says, why can't we have a skilled fourth line? Why does it have to be the muckers and grinders? In the case of Grubenkin, he's young and he does the thing that you would want a grizzled vet to do on that fourth line.
Yeah.
Which, again, it kind of negates one of those points that's typically like a very basic fallback negative talking point.
Yeah. I want to get to something Len DeJoseph is asking because I think it's worth responding to this.
Sure.
He says, speaking of fans, what do you guys think the reason is why crowds have been thin at games so far? Just October hockey or fans not buying in yet? I'm going to make a comparison for you, Len. I'm going to compare this to the Phillies in 22.
Ooh.
So the Phillies go in 22 were having a good year, right? But you didn't know down the stretch if they were going to make the playoffs. It was going to fall just short again. And, here's a team that was pushing to make their first playoff in, 11 years? And there were home games in September. They were getting 21,000 people in a 45,000 seat ballpark.
Yeah.
And they were this close to get it. Like they hadn't done it until they clinched that playoff spot and got into the playoffs. Fans weren't buying it. And so I think that in this city, fans aren't going to fall for, okay, they got off to a good start. Fans aren't going to believe until the team gives them reason to believe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
Right? They got to have reason to believe. So,
Tickets are too damn expensive.
well, that's the second.
That's the truth.
That's second.
If you
But
go-
if you believe, you're willing to spend that money a little bit.
Yeah, but yes and no. I mean, if you go through the Flyers ticketing site,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure I'll get blowback from the organization for saying this, but like the tickets aren't cheap.
No.
If you go to the secondary market, sometimes they're affordable. It depends on the matchup.
Correct.
The difference with like the 22 Phillies is like we all know, you go secondary market, you can get tickets for $7 in the upper level. Now, obviously, there are more seats available, and it's a different thing, and you're also going out for the experience of being outside in the summer at a beautiful ballpark and all that. I think part of price is definitely a factor. It has to be. There have been times that I've wondered aloud. We've had Dan Hilferty on the show before. I'm like, I've compared it to way back when in my college days, the Sixers had like the all-you-can-eat tickets in the second level on like one of the ends, and it was like $30 or something. I think it was for a seat, unlimited nachos, hot dogs, and soda. And as a college kid, like you're always all in on that.
Yeah.
I almost think that like at some point it's a worthwhile thing to look into because you do want to fill this place up. And my frustration, oddly enough, after all these years of like going down and watching the Flyers lose a lot of games with a packed house for teams that I'd sit back and say, this team stinks. Or Chuck Fletcher put another patch on a hole that's going to blow a dam. Now the team is actually playing well. Now the team, I think, actually is trending upward. And we're seeing attendance that, I don't think aligns with the product on the ice.
It'll get better. October has not been good no matter what team is for some reason. I don't know why. But you'll see the games start getting better.
Do you think now Pittsburgh's off to a decent start, but they're not a very good team. Do the fans come next week?
6:00 game too that night.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're going to Crosby will get people in the
You
building.
think people still come out for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
I don't think there's a lot of hate in that rivalry anymore, though.
Well, no, because the Penguins aren't any good anymore, so you don't hate them as much, right?
Have we gotten to the point, Bundy? I have a theory on this, but I think you would know better. Have we reached the point where, because, whether it's because the Flyers haven't been the most competitive, the Penguins haven't been the most competitive in recent years, have we reached a point where there's almost an appreciation from the Philadelphia hockey fans of Sidney Crosby that you just go like, this dude is obviously going to be an all-time great. This guy
Already is.
like he's fantastic, and like you might hate the Penguins, but like it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah. It becomes like an adoration for the player rather than like where they absolutely can't stand him anymore. There was a time where they hated Sidney Crosby in Philadelphia, but I think that's turned into kind of a lot of fandom as well. I think a lot of the fans have really gotten on board with who he is as a player. He's had a pretty modest career outside of the game. Like, he's a very quiet, humble type of person. That's been great for the game. He'll go down as a top 5 all-time great in this game. You're there with Gretzky, Lemieux, Crosby, Howe, and you pick another one. Whoever it is, they're there.
Yeah.
And Crosby's right in that 5, right in that top 5. So I don't think Philadelphia is going to come out to boo Sidney Crosby anymore. I think they're going to come out to appreciate what he's brought to the game and what he still brings.
It's interesting because Crosby was somebody that Tocchet referenced, I think during the offseason and during preseason. He said that Crosby had reached out about what a learning sponge Tyson Foerster was.
Yeah.
And that's one of the guys that we've kind of talked about on the Press Row show. It's a guy that I think fans have had a lot of interest in seeing how he progresses. Foerster looks like he's ready to take another step this season. What have you guys seen out of him so far this season?
I've been impressed with his game, his overall game. I mean, they changed the one goal, right, the other night?
Yes.
So he only really had
No, he got 2 goals.
He got
the credit
That's
for
what it was.
Yeah.
He got the credit, right?
Yeah.
So he got 2, right? Okay. So yes, he had the 2 goals the other night. But it's not even just about being a goal scorer. I watch the way he plays on that line, and he's so responsible. He's really always seems to be in the right place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something for a young player that surprised me last year. And I look at it and go, okay, so he's now doing it again this year. It wasn't just like a one-year wonder kind of thing.
Right.
He's going to be a really good two-way forward for his career. I mean, you don't just forget how to do what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't go away. The fact that he's now doing it a second season in a row tells you that that's part of his DNA. That's his makeup as a player. So that's what I like about him. He scores 30 goals, he scores 30 goals. Regardless, I just like the way he plays the game. And I think that's big for this team.
I agree with Anthony. Yeah, he plays the game a smart way, the right way. Obviously, Sidney Crosby saying those things about you tells you an awful lot about a young player in this league. He really loved playing with him in the World Championships, but he's been good. He skates, he moves his feet, he supports the puck, he supports his teammates. He's been another really good find by the Flyers and somebody who's really stepped his game up.
Russ, we only have 5 minutes left in the show. I have 2 quick things I want to talk about. One of them I think you're the right person to ask about is the NHL signing that deal today. Mm-hmm. With
Calcium Polymarket.
Yeah. Can you kind of talk about that and what that means?
Yeah. All right. So the intersection of my day job and Snow the Goalie.
Yes, that's why you're the right person.
So it's an interesting thing. I haven't looked into the exact specifics around what they're doing with the leagues. One of the things that I could tell you is that Calci Polymarket, Calci dabbles not only in sports but also non-sports markets. So like something as ridiculous as, will a certain character show up on an episode of South Park? And you can
bet on it.
Well,
not bet on it. But
betting is like the term that you're
not allowed to say bet.
You
I
can
get
like
it.
purchase a contract on.
Yes.
So you have that kind of thing out there, and it could be like, what's the high temperature going to be in Las Vegas today? Like it's down to that. Polymarket does similar stuff internationally. They just got back into the U.S. market, or they're about to. There's all kinds of fundraising. It's another way for fans, in theory, that are in non-legal sports betting states to potentially trade contracts on hockey. There are all kinds of legal questions. I have to...
Apparently the league's letting them use all their copyright stuff, all their marking,
it's all like a
trademarks
sub-licensing sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. There are a lot of legal challenges that those companies will face, and there are others. DraftKings today just announced an acquisition of a company called Railbird. They also do prediction markets. So If you're in Pennsylvania, if you're in New Jersey, it doesn't really change much for you. If you're in a state where sports betting hasn't been legal to this point,
California.
California, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, what part of the play is here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to kind of bring up, and this is for both of you guys. I'll give the Inquirer credit because I think that this was actually really a fun, smart thing that they did.
If we give them credit, can I trash the other one that did a terrible job?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
no problem.
Yes.
And they did this for football, but it relates to hockey and relates to any event that's down at the sports complex. Is they had 5 reporters go to the Eagles game last home game that they had against Denver a couple weeks ago, and as soon as the game ended, they each took a different mode of transportation to get to a mutual destination. So they were going to somewhere in Roxborough. So
Who was doing this? Reporters?
The Inquirer.
Okay.
5 different reporters.
Yeah.
So they had one of them drove their own car.
Yeah.
One of them took an Uber. One of them took the subway. One of them rode a bike. And I forget what the 5th one was. Whatever it was. So they did this different thing, and see who could get to the destination the fastest.
Okay.
Because you could all this talk about people should take the subway, take the subway more. It's faster. You don't have to deal with the gridlock traffic. The person who took public transportation got there dead last.
Really?
Dead last because of SEPTA delays. Only so many people could fit onto the train. Then they had a delay down in Center City to get out to Manayunk and everything else. They were dead last. The person that arrived first was the Uber.
Really?
The Uber, because you walked to a location where the Uber is, so you don't have to worry about getting out of the parking lot.
Right.
So the car was still the fastest way to go, just the slow part of it is the parking lot.
Right.
The other cars arrived, well, the bike got there before the other 2 cars. A guy biking from South Philly to Manayunk got there faster than people driving.
Mm-hmm.
But those,
How would you do that? Go up the river? I guess so, huh?
yeah, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. It's in the Inquirer. I would say check it out. It's kind of neat. What they did, they have like an interactive map, and they take you like who's leading at each point in the trip.
Yeah.
It was really good. So Inquirer did a really good job with that. But I thought it was interesting that the worst was this public transportation.
2 things. One, we had somebody in the comments telling me that I was using the wrong term. It's not. It's event contracts. Look it up. Philly Mag.
Oh, yeah, this is funny.
So Philly Mag did the 150 most influential Philadelphians, the top leaders, pioneers, and changemakers for 2025. Number 125 on the list was Danny Briere.
Good.
Here's the blurb. Philadelphia Redditors love to hate, but a surprisingly sizable chunk of the R Flyers approve of just about every move made by the forever young GM as he executes the first for real rebuild in franchise history. Are we allowed to say, trust the process? Go Flyers. For our viewing public at home, that's the image they used for Danny
little behind.
Briere. Which way?
No, you're good.
Okay. For those who are watching, you will note that is decidedly not Danny Briere. That is Travis Konecny.
Yes.
So,
Philly Mag.
Philly Mag.
Stay hot.
Please don't continue to profile roughly 5'6", 5'7" hockey players with dark hair who play for the Flyers and think that they're just interchangeable.
Yeah.
As a fellow, well, I'm 5'10", but if I were 5'6", I would be very offended.
Yes.
5'10" when?
Oh, when I'm standing on like a 4-inch block.
Oh, okay.
Well, that'll do it for us this week here at Chickies and Pete's. Thanks to everybody here at Chickies and Pete's of Warrington, PA. Don't forget, we will be back next Wednesday at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill in Delaware County, my neck of the woods. I'm sure all the great hockey fans from Delco will be out there to cheer us on. Thanks to the folks who came out to watch us here in Warrington. Chickies and Pete's, great place to watch the Flyers game. So go to your local Chickie and Pete's and one of the 12 locations this Saturday afternoon. Or go Thursday night. You go Thursday night to watch